Hello, I'm Dokje. Um, this is my first English, so I'm a little nervous, but let me give it a try. Okay. Today, what I'm talking about is the tray. I have little ideas on tray, so I wanted to know all about the tray, like what the tray is and how the tray is used and what kinds of tray there are, etc., which are, of course, the contents of this presentation. So let's get started. First, you should know what the tray is. We, as dental technicians, need the working model to make denture. So dentists should first use this tray to get an impression like this. Uh, yeah, of course, this first picture shows the tray. And to get the impression, they should first apply the impression material. This looks like this paste on both on the patient's oral and on the tray, and pressure this tray into the patient's jaw. And after some time, it sure gets hardened, and you can get this shape of impression. This is how it works, and you can see what the tray does. Yeah, tray is kind of tool, basic tool to help us get the impression to get a working model. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of the tray, there are, generally speaking, two kinds of tray. One tray is one kind of tray is this ready-built tray. You just saw, yeah, you just saw this tray, which is the ready-made tray. This is usually used for the making preliminary working model. And this below picture shows the custom-built tray. This is the another major kind of the tray. Yeah, let me explain to you what the difference is between them. First, for the ready-built tray, it is usually readily made, literally. As you see, uh, it ready-built tray literally means it is readily made as a product, sorted in different sizes like large, medium, small, etc. Yeah, which reminds me of when I took the orthodontic laboratory class, where we should first uh, get our own orthodontic model by using this ready-built tray. Yeah, we use the alginate impression material. So we pour the alginate into the tray and then pressure it into our own jaw. And after some time, we separate it and pour the plastic model into it. And after some time, we finally get our own orthodontic model. So yeah, that was the first time I saw the ready-built tray. And we move on to the another kind of tray, custom-built tray. Uh, it also literally means uh, it is customized to the patient's oral condition, each patient's oral condition. So which means it definitely gets the accuracy and precision of the denture to the patient's oral condition, which is really important, I think, because it is straightly linked to the uh, denture stability, which is all about the full denture technology, right? So let me explain more about that custom built tray, that importance of the custom built tray. Yeah, why do we need custom built tray? Yeah, let me make up for my lacking explanation. for the custom build tray by using examples of the pictures. The above picture, this first picture is the alternate impression that is made right from the ready build tray, which omits the course of custom build tray. Yeah, maybe it is really comfortable and easy if you don't go through the custom build tray and make the impression right from the ready build tray. But there are of course some downsides for that. As you can see, what you really should focus on is this border condition. No, as you can see, it is really incorrect condition for the patient's oral. No, it is really inconsistent and unnecessarily thick and long. So it definitely is not correct for the patient's oral condition, which means uh, there are definitely consequences that the patients finally make complaints about the adaptability and the stability of the denture. And otherwise, this below picture shows the final functional impression made from the custom build tray. You can see the distinct difference compared to this one. You should compare both of the border condition. No, it is really clear and accurate. So it can be said that it has a quite decent condition of the border condition. So there will be no way that the patients would complain about it because it has a pretty accurate borderline, which is good for the denture stability in the patient's oral. So you can see how important we should go through the course of making custom build tray, right? So to make that important custom build tray, in other words individual tray, yeah, you can also call it an individual tray. Anyway, to make that important individual tray, you should of course know how to make it. Yeah, there are several ways to make that kind of tray, but the most general way of making it is with the resin, self-curing resin. So let me explain about it first. Okay, first thing you do is pre-treating the plastic model and drawing the lines for the tray. This red line is the tray line, and the below the black line is for the denture. And you should draw another line 2 millimeters, about 2 millimeters above from the red line, the tray line, which is for the space for the impression material. So this drawing line is the most important part of making tray. It is pretty basic part that you should keep in mind. The point here is that this 2 millimeters short for the tray outline. Why should we give these 2 millimeters above for the tray outline? Because it is for the space for the border molding to finally get the functional impression. Okay, and then after finishing drawing the line, you can put the base plate wax according to the impression material line, yeah, which is 2 millimeters above from the tray outline, as I said, yeah, and this can play a role as a spacer for impression material. And then you should make a hole, similarly several holes on the wax. This is called tissue stop. We should make tissue stops because they can keep the impression material well located and protect the space for the impression material later. And it also strengthens the adaptability between the impression material and the tray. So it is straightly linked to the stability of the denture later. Sorry. And you should make those tissue stops, so-called tissue stops, both on the molar parts and the canine parts. And you should make, and the size of the tissue stop should be 5 millimeters diameters. That would be right. That would be correct. And then you should apply the fluid, separation fluid, both on the tissue stops and the non-wax part, so that we can separate the tray with the base plate wax from the model. Don't forget to apply also on the tissue stops, okay? You don't want to be in the situation where you can't separate it from the model. Then all we've been going through goes for nothing, okay? Okay, then we should make the tray. So to make that tray, we need resin, and to make that resin, we need some liquid and the powder. And in the official terms, it is called, respectively, the monomer and the polymer. So to make the resin, you should mix them. You should mix the monomer and the polymer according to the ratio. Yeah, you should refer to the manufacturer manual because it is different for the manufacturer companies. So you should refer to the manual and understand the right ratio for the resin, for making resin. So you should mix them according to the ratio and make sure it is until it is in Dobby stage to work with it. And by Dobby stage, it means like it should turn out to be a lump of dough that stick to the spatula. And this means the condition of the Dobby stage. It wasn't until that kind of stage of the mixture that we can work with it, okay, to make a tray. And then when it becomes a Dobby stage, Dobby condition, then you can take the lump out of the bowl and knead it a few times and apply it with fingers on the model consistently. And make sure that it is 3 millimeters thick to prevent its transformation caused by external force. Yeah, it is really important because if you make it lower than 3 millimeters, like 1 millimeters or 2 millimeters, then it has vulnerability in terms of the strength, uh, which is quite vulnerable to the external force, which means it can be easily transformed unintendedly, and which is straightly linked to the stability of the denture. Okay, so it is really required to make it over than not over than just about 3 millimeters thick to get that much of strength, to get stability. Let me take some moments. Okay. Then, as you can see this picture, uh, while you apply this resin on the model, you can see the extra excessive resin over the tray line, which is to be which is to be removed by a warm carving tool. And yeah, the carving tool, you should make sure that the carving tool is quite warm so that you can easily work on it. And with that resin left over, you should make it into the shape of the knob, the handle for the tray. So before attach this made knob to the tray, it is recommended to apply the fluid or some resin kind of stuff on the tray and then attach it so that it can they can be combined well. They can be well combined. And what really matters that I'm going to talk about is the shape of the knob and the location of the knob, which is really important for not just the dental technicians but other operators like dentists or dental hygienists. For maxillary model, it should be 45 degrees inclined to the labial direction, and for mandibular one, it should be 90 degrees. You should keep in mind these conditions uh, because it is so that it should be good for not both for you and for other workers, okay, to work on it. And now we come to the last part of the course of making a tray. Yeah, this is the air pressure pan, and the air pressure pan, and this is the measurements to use this air pressure pan. Yeah, after making knobs on the tray, you should put the tray with models in this air pressure pan, set in 2.5 bar for 10 minutes, which is from the source of the some certain manufacturer product manual. So it can be different according to the companies. So you should also refer to the manual. It can be different for each product. So yeah, Like I said, it is self-curing resin, so it seems like we don't need to put this in that kind of pressure related device, but it is required to do this because it is like it is on the same page. It is the same reason. It is the same reason to when we uh, make the resin by mixing the monomer and the polymer. Especially when we finished mixing them and cover the package to wait until it became doppy stage. The reason we're doing it is because we should prevent the resin from evaporizing. And this course, keeping this model with tray in the air pressure pan, has the same reason. Uh, it is for preventing the tray resin from evaporizing, uh, to prevent its transformation. Okay, because it is straightly linked to the stability of the denture. So make it you should keep the size precisely. But you don't necessarily need these kind of special device like air pressure pan. You should just you can just put it you can just put it in water. You can just soak it in water for some time if you don't afford to buy this kind of special equipment. Okay, that can be another way. Okay, yeah. Uh, back in the explanation, I also mentioned that there are other ways. There are some another ways other than using resin to make individual tray. Here are some two ways that I'm about to talking about. First is with thermoplastic resin. Uh, there were some certain needed materials other than the resin. Uh, First, you need some thermoplastic resin sheet and the vacuum forming device that those kind of special equipment is required to make tray. This is how it works. You should first heat that sheet, and with that sheet, you should use the vacuum forming device. With that vacuum forming device, uh, you can pressure that heated sheet on the model. So it sounds like it can be easily worked and within a short time but it requires special equipment such as vacuum forming device and the thermoplastic resin sheet. So it is quite difficult to to buy those kind of special equipment. So it is quite limited in terms of the situation and circumstances. And another way could be with the shellac base plate. It doesn't need any kind of special equipment like special equipment. It is readily made and sold as a product. So you can easily buy them and work with it at one time all at once pretty easily. But it lacks in many parts like strength and accuracy, so it is not recommended. Okay. Okay, so these are the another ways of making individual tray. So as you may notice that the using with resin, self-curing resin to make individual tray is the most general way of making those kind of tray. So that's why we use the resin the most in terms of the individual tray. Okay? Okay. So this is the end of my speech using Prezi about the tray, all about the tray. Thank you for watching my Prezi. Thank you.